In January, we did my annual 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance program where we looked at one thing you could do each day. Well, we're back with the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. In the chaotic world of 2025 and beyond, compliance will become even more important, and you staying on top of your game will help your company move forward. We conclude our special 5-part exploration of the COSO 2013 Internal Controls Frameworks by looking at Objective 5, Monitoring Activities. This is the final objective from the 2013 Framework for Internal Controls, and it states ongoing evaluations, separate evaluations, or some combination of the two are used to ascertain whether each 5 of the components of internal controls, including controls to affect principles within each component, are present and functioning. Ongoing evaluations built into the business processes at different levels of the entity provide timely information. Separate evaluations conducted periodically will vary in scope and frequency depending on the assessment of risk, effectiveness of ongoing evaluations, and other management considerations. Findings are evaluated against criteria established by regulators, recognized industry standard-setting bodies or management and the board of directors, and deficiencies are communicated to management and remediated as appropriate. However, as with all other components of the COSO cube, they're part of an interrelated whole and cannot be taken singularly. It applies to all 5 components of internal controls, and the nature of monitoring should fit within the organization, its dependence on IT, and the effectiveness of monitoring, providing other relevant feedback on the other components, including the effectiveness of control activities. It is important to ensure that adequate controls are present in support of all relevant functioning principles and the components before launching into efforts to prove that the controls are functioning. Remember that all relevant principles must be functioning and present for a company to safely conclude their ICFR is effective. Aligning the design controls of the 17 principles to see any gaps early in the implementation process will help ensure adequate time to remediate and test for operational effectiveness. The same is equally, if not more, true for your company's compliance functions. Monitoring activity consists of 2 basic principles. The organization selects and develops and performs ongoing or separate evaluations to ascertain whether the controls are functioning and present. And 2, the organization evaluates and communicates for internal control deficiencies timely to those parties responsible for taking corrective action. Monitoring activities should bring together your entire compliance program and give you a sense of whether it's running effectively or properly. Both ongoing monitoring and auditing are tools for the CCO and compliance professional, and you should use them in support of your objective. Near the end of this section, one commentator noted, monitoring is a key component of the internal controls framework because effective monitoring recognizes the dynamics of change within your organization and provides the basis for corrective action on a timely basis. It also allows you to evaluate the effectiveness of the corrective control at will. You cannot just build one-off controls and then not have a process in place to monitor them. Controls are not a one and done. Many companies are going to find this approach will not make it. There must be a mechanism in place for the communication of controls which do not work or are consistently overridden. And you should always remember that they will align with your requirement to prevent, detect, and remediate going forward. So what are today's 3 key takeaways? Well, number 1, as with risk assessments, controls need to be evaluated on an ongoing basis. 2, the evaluation of deficiencies must be documented in writing so that if a regulator ever comes knocking, you can show them that you have evaluated the deficiency and then led to number 3, which of course is the communication and the remediation of these deficiencies. I hope you've enjoyed this exploration of the COSO Objectives. One of the things that I'm happy to do for you, the compliance profession, is if you have a question or a series of questions you would like some compliance tips on, I'm happy to take any requests that you might want, certainly anonymize them, and give you a quick tip. Either one quick tip or maybe a week's worth of quick tips. So if you have any tips you want about your compliance program, you can shoot me an email at tfox@tfoxlaw.com. This podcast was created and produced with the assistance of AI.